Oh, you can see the chairs today. Oh, let's see. Slightly different angle, like that. Yep. Yep. There's the chair. Oh my God, my living room chair is going to be famous. Hey friends, what's up? Day 397. Here we are. We're going to do some mobility, and we're going to do some kettlebell training. And I see I am short one kettlebell, so let me just grab an extra one, and we're going to get started. You doing all right? I hope you're doing all right. I know I'm doing all right. Doing a bit better now that I seem to have been able to get back out of bed to do some exercises and some workouts. For those of you who are watching, my name is Toby. I'm 40 years old and I train to live an active, self-sufficient and adventurous life. So by minding my sleep, I try to get between 7 and 9 hours. Minding what I eat, I try to eat within my energy balance, which is about 2,100 calories, and there are challenges there that I am trying to deal with every day, specifically at the office. And I try to eat 120 to 150 grams of protein. And I try to work out daily mobility, strength, or conditioning. And today is a mix of mobility and a bit of kettlebell conditioning. So I'm looking forward to that. And I like to go for runs once a week. So tomorrow morning is my running day. Also, I'm going to spend time with people I love and care about, do things that I enjoy, and generally try to live a stress-free life. So if you're dropping by and watching, you go ahead and hit that like button. Just help me out. Help people find me if you're interested in health and fitness in your 40s or kettlebells or just me and my channel in general. I always say this is not about the way I look, this is about the way I feel. And I think it's important to realize that, I want to feel fit and competent and capable for whatever life is going to throw at me. And in order to do that, I feel like I want to keep my range of motion, make sure that I'm able to move and do the things I want to do, but I also want to be able to go out and go for a 10-kilometer hike in the mountains with my children, or be able to keep up with my children on the playground or in one of these huge play areas, or be able to keep up with a busy family schedule, but also a busy work schedule. So if that's something that's of interest to you or something you're working on as well, we have that in common and we can work on that together. Today, we're going to do some mobility, and we're going to be doing a little bit of conditioning with the kettlebell. And sadly, I am still working on fixing my shoulders and my rotator cuff, so I cannot work overhead, so there won't be any snatches or presses overhead. But we're going to see if we can do some push-ups into the mix and some other things. And YouTube Punk, thanks for dropping by and saying hi. It's good to know that you're listening and not watching while you're driving. Please drive safe, be well, and get home in one piece and get home safely. All right, friend. And it's nice to see all of you here. We're going to get started. All right, we're going to start with a little bit of mobility, and then we're going to move into kettlebell after that. And like on my channel, the thing is being fit in our 40s. We spent quite a bit of time talking about being consistent this week and how motivation and discipline factor into that, but how nothing's going to beat habits and routines, because we have things that we do every day without thinking about them. But somehow, when it comes to exercise and movement, it is something that we feel we have a choice in terms of what we can and cannot do, rather than just figuring out a way to move. Just breathing in, breathing out, figuring out a way to move 2 to 3 hours a day. Because we figured out a way to sit 11 hours a day out of the 16 that we're awake, in case you haven't noticed. if you don't believe me, but you have a job like mine, go ahead, and I'm going to come and check the messages in chat in a moment. If you don't believe me, go ahead and think about the amount of time that you sit on a commute, at work, or studying, at night before bed, and unless you're doing something incredibly cool and different from the rest of us, I believe those 7 to 9 hours that we spend in bed, we spend not sitting, we spend lying down. In other words, we're not moving enough to be healthy. Jose Ibarra, hello. Thank you for dropping by and saying hello. Appreciate that, and I hope you're doing well. So all of that sitting in the short and long run is going to come at a cost. In the short run, it's probably going to lead to, how should I put this, a life where we consume more energy than we expend because we are spending our life sitting and not walking around or moving around. And because of that, we pack on a bit of excess weight, or maybe a lot of excess weight. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, don't get me wrong. We can be healthy and fit in many different shapes and sizes. But the problem with excess weight that accumulates over time, is that down the line makes life harder, leads to health problems, and probably leads to some diseases and health outcomes that actually would have been quite preventable had we made some different choices. But even if you wouldn't be putting on the weight, because you've perfectly balanced the amount you're eating with the amount you're expending, then sitting would have a number of detrimental effects in the short run and in the long run. Because in the short run, your conditioning and cardiovascular ability would deteriorate. Why? You're not challenging yourself physically. To move, so you're not conditioning yourself regularly. So should you ever be in need of some sudden burst of action, you're not capable. You're not ready for it. You might be able to perform it, but your body is likely to complain, or you're likely to injure yourself. All right. That makes sense. On top of that, right, you're not building strength, and even though between your 20s and your 40s, maybe that's not really a problem, the moment you get beyond 40, if you don't structurally maintain and keep up with your strength, and I don't mean you need to deadlift 3 times your body weight and bench press 3 times your body weight and squat 3 times your body weight, but at least be able to pull 20 to 40 kilos off the ground and move it around in different ways. Yeah. Well, what's going to happen? Well, over time, by the time you're 50, 60, 70, you're going to have lost such a significant proportion of your strength and ability that there will be things that you are not capable of doing anymore. So again, we sit too much. It would be fair to say that we're sitting more than 3/4 of our day. We're inactive 3/4 of the day, and 30 minutes of exercise is not going to do enough to offset that. Properly minding our diet is not going to do enough to offset that. The only answer that really will work is if we can figure out a way to incorporate more activities into our daily routine that require us to use our bodies. And by the way, this is very different if you have a physical job where you're standing on your feet, you're moving around a lot, lifting things, pushing things. So I can think of a healthcare employee, a nurse, or warehouse worker, or construction. But if you're like me and you have a desk job, well, you're just unlucky, aren't you? Because whether you like it or not, and you have all the benefits of all that comfort, your desk job is slowly but surely helping your body become weaker and less functional over time. So it's not a reason to try to find those 30 minutes every day at least to move, whether it's mobility, conditioning, or strength, but also to think about what kind of things we can incorporate into our days so that we can become fitter and stay fitter and healthier over time. And you're probably wondering, well, alright, that's a nice doom scenario, Toby. What can we actually do? Well, what we actually can do is relatively simple. We can go for a bit more walks during the day. For example, before we arrive at the office or on our way to the office, right? And I come from a country where a lot of people bike or walk to work. And I know that's not possible everywhere, but if you have the opportunity to just add that 1 or 2 block walk or a 5-minute walk to your daily routine, that already is a small win for your general health and conditioning, because now you're getting used to that 5-minute walk, 10-minute walk. If you have the opportunity in the middle of the day to actually go out for a 20 or 30-minute walk or bike ride continuously, just to get that movement in, that's going to help. So now we've got a moment at the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, and at the middle of the day. If there are any staircases where you work, if there are any staircases where you work, do you take the stairs? I try to at least take the stairs when I arrive 4 floors up, and I try to at least take the stairs 8 or 9 floors up once a day in between meetings. Otherwise, we usually just end up standing around waiting for the elevator anyway. Takes 2 minutes, 1 minute. But in the middle of the day, that is exactly the kind of burst of exercise that's probably going to help stay healthy, because going up the stairs is a cardiovascular exercise. But secretly, it's also just squatting, right? And I'm pushing my body weight up every step of the way, working against gravity. So you're getting a good workout in simply by doing that. Just keep that in mind. Think about that. All right? So there we have a walk in the morning, a flight of stairs in the morning, a longer walk for lunch, a flight of stairs in the afternoon, and a short walk at the end of the day. Now, is that going to make us super fit and super healthy? Well, that's what we have the 30 minutes of training for, to stimulate our cardiovascular system and our muscles differently at different times of the day. But that is going to generally help us be a bit fitter and a bit healthier and start to offset the detrimental effects of all of that sitting. All right? So, you punk, did you get home already, by the way? So you just think about that. You keep that in mind. Now, what about our overall lifestyle? Are there any other things we can do? Well, there's the time we're at work, and there's the time before work. I think you can see how I'm spending that. And there's the time after work, right? And I think it's just so important to realize that time we spend sitting and distracting and entertaining ourselves, which by the way is completely fine, right? But if it's 21 hours a week or 14 hours a week of sitting and entertaining ourselves, maybe we need to wonder if that is really how we're living our best lives. I'm just saying that you can bring 14 hours down to 10, really missing out on any of your favorite series. But you have 4 hours to, I don't know, maybe spend on your health and fitness, right? I'm glad to read that. I'm happy to read that, buddy. Good. But you have a couple of extra hours to spend on your health and fitness, right? Because you're doing a balancing act. Saying, well, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, or whatever days you choose are days that I'm skipping the Netflix or HBO, and I'm actually going to spend 1 or 2 hours in the gym or outdoors or at a sports club, engaging in a sport that I enjoy doing, right? Because that's also moving. When we join a sport club and we have like a free training for 1.5 or 2 hours, and we have a little match or something, that's all movement and being out and being with other people. Because life isn't about extremes. Life's about striking a balance. And I think we can learn to do a better job at striking that balance by understanding what it means to be healthy and how we want to be healthy, and that there's too much in our day-to-day life today that actually is conducive to long-term poor health in the long term, I should say, and that we have some measure of control in our day-to-day, what we can do about it. But it requires relearning and rewiring some habits. And I'll tell you, one of the big struggles I have, right, and I was laughing about it yesterday. I had a meeting with one of my business leaders. It's like one of those coffee chats that you can schedule. And he comes in with a little bowl full of sugar-coated almonds, and I start laughing. I'm like, yeah, it's impossible to stop eating them, right? And he laughs, like, yeah, it's crazy. I say, yeah, I try to avoid them all day. And he offers some to me. I said, no, thanks. I said, but now they also have chocolate-covered peanuts, like M&Ms, but then slightly different. I say, I just can't avoid the stuff. And if it's there and if I see it, I have this urge to eat it. Whereas if I'm at home, I can just skip it. We know that we shouldn't be chugging down 300 calories worth of chocolate or whatnot like that. But it's going to happen because it's there. And that happens once a week. Well, what are you going to do about it? It doesn't really matter, right? You had a treat, you're happy, tastes good probably. But if you do it twice a day over the course of a month, then you're going to notice some changes. And those changes are, again, probably not going to be beneficial for your long-term health. But the point here is that the environment we live in likely is not very conducive to our long-term health goals. And we need to take a measure of control, take some agency, show some agency, and really focus and think about, what are the health outcomes that we're after today, tomorrow, 10 years from now? Because you can't fix a health problem once it's there very easily. But you can either postpone the onset of some serious health problems, or you can prevent them altogether by doing little things every day as a part of your routine, like brushing your teeth, taking a shower, changing your clothes every day, changing the bed sheets once in a while. Prevents all kinds of negative outcomes with those. So that makes sense. That's something you're interested in. It's what I talk about on this channel, right? And for those some new people watching, I think, my name's Toby. I'm 40 years old, and I train to live an active, self-sufficient, and adventurous life. I do that by minding my sleep, minding what I eat, and showing up and doing some work, strength, conditioning, and mobility. All right? Now, as a father, as a man in my 40s, I look at the world today and I think, it's a tough place to live in. I thought I had it rough when I was a kid and a teenager, but nowadays, if it isn't the rabbit hole of food on TikTok or Instagram or harmful body image than it is dangerous games. I think a teenager passed away the other day in the Netherlands by doing some sort of online challenge. Fire and physio, seated kettlebell exercises. Yeah, exactly. Oh, and to do salted caramel and the sugar around the peanuts. Yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, well, I don't see any harm in doing any seated exercises. I mean, if you're doing any exercises at the gym, you're probably sitting some of the time, right? Extreme balance, indeed. But, you know, I think we need to acknowledge and accept the fact that the world around us has changed. Not necessarily for the better. And that it is important that we take some charge of that environment and of that routine so that we can figure out and live a good life on our terms. Hey, look, kettlebell. We're going to move into some conditioning. I'm just going to do a check-in first to make sure that we're moving well and that everything is working as intended. And we're going to do every minute on the minute. So how do we do that? Well, it starts by wanting to develop and continuously be developing, depending on the stage of life we're in, a vision of why we want to be healthy. And I always share mine in the hopes that it helps you develop yours, right? So I'm not the fittest or the healthiest guy out there, but I think generally, if I were to go get my health markers checked, I'd be on an okay track. And I think overall, if we keep doing the things we're doing, we're going to stay healthy for a long time. Poor Man's Gym, thanks for dropping by, saying hi. Hope you're doing okay. It's good of you to come by. How's the challenge going and the workouts? Hope those are going well. I'm looking forward to the weekend. It is Saturday morning here, and I'm going to make a cup of coffee soon. All right, so looking at that environment that we're in, right? The world that we live in. Can we change the world? No. Can we change our corner of the world? Yes. All right. So when it comes to sleep, because I like to start with sleep, because everyone always starts with exercise, but you can't exercise enough to offset a poor sleeping schedule, believe me. Right? You have two kids. You learn quick enough what poor sleep will do to your mind and body, motivation, outlook on life, desires. No bueno, friends. Not good. Sleep well. So, can we take some charge of the place we sleep in? Start with the bed. Is it comfortable? Is it big enough? Fresh bed sheets. At least once a week, if you can. All right. Is it dark? Is it cool? Can you keep it cool? All right. the basics, then is it tidy? But I'm not a big one on tidiness, but I do think that I really am not. All right. So whatever ideal image you had of my perfect house, you can park that right away. I have 2 kids, and they have a lot of toys, and I have toys as well. I learned to pick them up after myself, though, a long time ago. It is maybe nice to have a sleeping space that is dedicated to sleeping, but I know that's not always possible. But even if that is a part of the room that is dedicated to that, and keep that clean and tidy and neat. And at least I know. Seeing 500 Days Heals. Whoa. Okay. Thanks. I will take a look at his channel once that comes out. So there are some things that we can just consider about our sleeping space. Because we can take charge of that. We have a lot of control over that. And once that becomes a habit and a routine, you're also going to feel a bit off when you don't actually set it up properly and have it the way you want to have it. Okay, we're going to do some one-arm swings. 5 on the left, 5 on the right. All right, so that's how we can take control of the area that we sleep in. Then we can take control of the area where we store food, the area where we eat food, and the type of food that makes its way into our house. Because out there in the world, like at my office, right? Remember the story about the almonds and the chocolate nuts? I have very little control, but everything I eat in here, this is the kitchen, by the way, everything I eat in here comes in through my front door or the back door. Yeah. And therefore, I probably have some control over how much of what comes in and what I can do with that. So that's one of the things that we can look for. It's okay. I know that if I buy bags of crisps, snacks, cookies, Coca-Cola, you name it, it's going to get eaten, and it's going to get eaten fast. But if I don't have it in the house, well, I might turn to a different snack. I like to have high protein options in the house, which I can then turn to, and doesn't satisfy that craving, but usually that craving for that sweet stuff is a reaction to some stress from the day or the week or life in general. And it's got nothing to do with my long-term health goals, right? So we can take the time to think about that. Think about what we keep in the house and where we keep it. Does it mean the house is entirely candy or sweet or snack-free? Not at all, because once in a while it's nice to have a snack, but you may have one thing in the house, and when that one thing is finished, well, too bad. That's it. Right? That's it. We will have to deal with that, all right? And then we can control those two things. We control how much we sleep, how well we sleep. We control what's available to eat. We start to eat differently. And then we do the little things in the exercises that we talked about. And there you are. Maybe you're on to a slightly healthier path, or path to a slightly healthier lifestyle. But let's go back and talk about developing that long-term goal or vision for your health and fitness. As I talk about mine, and it guides me, and it's changed over time. And I think yours will change over time as well. And that's completely fine. The point is not to have one that will last forever. The point is to have one that is functional and works for you in the moment we have today. Right? Got to keep working on the shoulders. If you don't milk. Yeah, the sweet taste of milk. Talk about a sugary drink, right? I mean, everyone's bashing soft drinks, but you look at what's available in milk. We're adding a little clean and squat to the mix there. Right? I mean, there are a lot of good things about milk, but drink a gallon of it a day. You might as well be eating chocolate and mayonnaise. So I get that, but it tastes good. I guess we all have things like that. So what are my health goals? What's my vision for myself? Well, first of all, when I get around to 80, I would like to be free of any discomfort and disease that is preventable. I would like to be off meds rather than on meds, because my lifestyle has allowed me to keep doing the things that I want to do, because I have a healthy body that is still capable of doing the things I wanted to do, like keeping up with my sons, who will then be adult men, hopefully. All right. But moreover, at that age, I would still like to be fit, capable, competent for whatever life might throw at me. And we do that by making sure that we're physically capable, conditioned, and strong. And also, hopefully, the exercise and the nutrition regime will keep us mentally stable and in shape. Yeah. So that's what we're working towards. I don't think we'll ever be free of disease and discomfort, because there's just a natural tendency probably for me to develop something or another. And that's completely fine. I'm okay with that. But I would prefer not to have to be on medicine or get treatment for something because I didn't exercise, I sat too much, I ate too much, and I didn't mind my general health the 20 years before, if that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, that's because you're burning like 6,000 calories a day doing all these challenges. So you need to eat that much to make sure that you have the fuel to keep going, right? It's impressive, honestly. I'm laughing because I wish that were the case for me. I think if we started to do those kinds of workouts, then, yeah, there is the quantities that we can eat suddenly change drastically. And I think it also shows just what the human body is capable of, right? And I mean, for anyone who's watching, you should go check out his channel. So his workouts are brutal and inspiring. Good morning. Night. Yeah. Yeah, man. Water, food, salt. I eat sushi. I look like a happy panda the next day. Yeah. I get that. Absolutely. Right? But having that as a set goal for my overall health in the future informs some of the decisions I'm going to make today. Am I going to ever say, oh, I wish I had that extra bar of chocolate? I doubt it. But probably I do regret not trying harder in competitive sports when I was younger. Not not being able to go on that adventurous hike with my son because I can't carry him. Not having tried to build a YouTube channel because I was too busy watching shows on TV. Those are the things I probably regret. in life. Yeah. I think it's important to keep that in mind as we look towards our health and fitness. So staying free from preventable disease, being able to spend time with the people I love and care about, being able to do the things that I want to do, and to do them without impediments and without concern, within reason. I spoke to a guy the other day, his dad's 70, and he still goes scuba diving. Adventurous lifestyle, because he's fit and capable, and he keeps himself in shape. How many people about 70 do you know who do things like that? Not that I want to go scuba diving under ice, but I think it's worth noting that it's possible. And setting a good example for the people around me, people I love and care about. So there you have it, right? We sit too much, we lie too much, we're not aware of it, we think it's normal, and it's not. And we need to figure out ways to move 3 or 4 hours in a day, if at all possible. And we'll be a lot healthier and happier because of that. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. You also have a good day, buddy. Take care. Good luck with all that milk. YouTube Punk, thanks for dropping by. I'm glad you got home safe. Jose Ibarra, thanks for dropping by as well. And anyone else who's watching, thanks for dropping by, saying hi, hitting that like button, maybe checking out my channel and subscribing, sharing the channel with a friend if you think it might be useful for them. My name is Toby. I'm 40 years old. I train to live an active, self-sufficient, and adventurous life. It's not about the way I look. It's about the way I feel. I want to feel fit, competent, and capable for whatever life throws at me. And I think we're doing a pretty good job at it. Trying to show up 330 out of 365 days. More days is only a plus. And I try to be mindful about my health and my fitness. Toby talk. Exactly. Remember, we're good just the way we are. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on. And the only way to get anything done, friends, is by showing up and doing the work. Thanks for dropping by. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow, all right?